Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about at which limit break are the next major cards going to be good in. And I'm going to be giving you recommendations based on the recommended limit break for these cards. It just comes down, I'm planning on using this card for the long term, then you should consider higher limit breaks. The recommendation in this video is personally my opinion, and two, it is probably the cheapest or like the lowest possible limit break where these cards are going to be extremely good at. We will start with the card that will come out first, then we will move on. The first card is going to be Mr. C.B. Mr. C.B is a very strong stat stick, especially at its cost. You only need one limit break for it to be actually a really decent card when it comes to wit generating. And she also comes in with the skill bonus, which of course is nice. Its unique effect is that at 80 bond gauge, which is orange, you will get a whip bonus and a skill void bonus. So the orange part, which is highlighted by the Game Tour website, is when this passive is activated, which of course is strong. Generally, it's not that difficult to get to a total of 80 bond, but sometimes on some runs, especially given that this card does not have the best friendship gauge, it can be slightly annoying. However, for the most part, you will probably have this card up and running before the start of the summer. So, the hints on this card is actually very nice because for the next two champions meeting, being a medium champions meeting, you can get medium corners from it and also to held high. You can also get straight away sport if you are an encloser player, which of course is nice given that this is mostly an encloser card. And you can actually get corner recovery from the second step of this card, and there's also the 10 energy that you can get or 20 power depending on your situation. So if you really want an extra amount of energy or something like that, then you could consider also looking at a positive aspect of this card. Next up is its gold skill, being Daring Strike. If you have played with Daring Strike, the IAB Power card has been out for a couple of months now, and you will clearly understand that Daring Strike on an encloser is extremely good, and of course that is nice. This card is a wick card, you will bring wick cards no matter what, and of course giving Daring Strike is very nice. What it is that at a random point in the mid game, provided that you have 5th or below and you are an encloser, you get a long duration of a 0.25 target speed increase, which of course is extremely good given how enclosers work with mid game. I'm actually going to compare this card at one limit break compared to Marvelous Sunday. Why Marvelous Sunday specifically? Ignore the text over here. Anyways, why Marvelous Sunday specifically? Because if we go back again, this card gives you Tell Held High. What other card gives you Tell Held High? It is the SR Marvelous Sunday card. So comparing each one of them is very simple actually. Mr. CB has slightly more friendship bonus. The difference is not really that big compared to both of them. However, the biggest aspect of Mr. CB is that she has a speed bonus and 2 whip bonus, provided that of course you are above 80 bond gauge, which of course is nice compared to Marvel Sunday only having 1 whip bonus. However, for the off trading, which is the card when it's on speed, power, wit, not wit, stamina and guts, you will get more stats overall for Marvelous Sunday compared to Mr. CB at one limit break, because this is about 11% trading effectiveness in general, while Mr. CB is only at 5%, provided this of course you are a great mood. The initial friendship gauge Marvelous Sunday has 9 extra points, which means that it is about 2 clicks away from going to Rainbow before Mr. CB. The biggest difference is probably going to be the race bonus actually, and if you can slot two 5% race bonus cards, then this part does not really matter that much, but if not, Marvelous Sunday is better on that aspect. For the hint levels, it's the exact same thing, so you will get hint level 3 for Tell Held High, provided that you land it from these two cards. And of course, Mr. CB has the skill point bonus, and the wet friendship trading is not really that big when it comes to 3 and 4. One last thing that I want to mention is that Marvelous Sunday has a fat 40 initial wet compared to Mr. CB. So in general, you will start to feel like, oh, Mr. CB is weaker at the start. However, after you get this card at 80 bond gauge or above, this card starts to go really good or really crazy. So here are the numbers. As you can see, one limit break Mr. CB actually generates you more speed, more wet, and more SP compared to Marvelous Sunday and also Fine Motion, which of course is very good. So that means that if you have max limit break Fine Motion on your account and you have the one limit break Mr. CB and you are borrowing, let's say, El Condor Pasa Power, that is really good wet cards on your deck already. And of course, if you can hit the stat line, provided that you do not need that 40 initial wet from Marvelous Sunday, you can actually clearly see that Mr. CB is just outright better in a lot of cases and pretty much better in the training. When it comes to MLB Mr. CB, you will actually see that you get 3 difference in wet, 1 extra speed, and 1 extra SP. So it just really depends on your preference. So here are the banners. This card has a rerun later down this year with Super Creek card. The initial banner is at late April. It's the very last banner on April, and it's paired with this Tokai Teo SR stamina card. It's not really that good of a card, so you generally just are pulling for Mr. CB. So here is the thing, okay? My recommendation at the start, since there are people of course that just pulled on the Naruto Top Road, you probably would not have that much of Carats, but here is the thing. If you are a non-end closer player, the lowest amount of limit breaks for this card to be extremely good is 1 limit break. However, let's say you didn't pull on the Naruto Top Road and you are an end closer player, then what I would potentially put as a consideration, since these cards give you direct strike and you are an end closer player for the most part, you could consider you going to 3 limit break to max limit break if you already have Super Creek. If you do not have Super Creek, then what I would probably recommend is just pull 200 on this banner, get Mr. CB, and then on the rerun you MLB it alongside of Super Creek. This way you save yourself a lot of Carats and you can also get a really strong card alongside Mr. CB being Super Creek. Super Creek still going to be extremely good in Grand Life and also Grand Master. So this card with Mr. CB is a very valuable card. If you have Super Creek already at max limit break and you are an end closer player, then you could consider going for higher limit breaks to fix the issue with Mr. CB not having that high of off training numbers. And keep in mind that if you are going to be pulling on the rerun banner, 2 months later you will see Ramayano Wit, which of course is the strongest wit card after Fine Motion. If you are an end closer player, you could just drop Fine Motion from your deck and use Mr. CB for Daring Strike. However, you will probably want to have this card at high limit breaks at that point in order for you to not fall off behind that much when it comes to overall wit. Next up is Summer Maruzensky speed card. So this is a very very famous card. And of course, there is a lot of people that tell you at one limit break this card is good, you don't need much more than that. I would agree. One limit break, so Maruzensky, is pretty much what you generally need overall for you to have a very strong card for frontrunners. Its unique effect is that you get 5 training effectiveness pure level during the training facility level. So how it works, let's say I have a level 4 stamina facility level, and this card lands on it. That equates to 20% training effectiveness, which of course is very good. So think of it as 5% training effectiveness that scales depending on the level of your facility level. Of course, this card at one limit break is very nice. I have seen a lot of people also say that, oh, if you are a frontrunner player, then you wanna consider going for the 3 limit break. The reason is mostly for the hint levels. I will try to give you both perspective as to why, oh, you want to pick 1 LB, or why you should consider 3 LB. Summer Maruzensky speed has pretty much every single frontrunner skill that you want. Leader's Pride, Playtime's Over, Slipstream, which is like an ancient skill. Nobody ever freaking farms this skill anymore. Frontrunner Corners, Frontrunner Straights, Groundwork, and Focus. Pretty much the entire frontrunner kit on this card. And Summer Runner, keep in mind that for once this card comes out, probably like 3 champions meeting are going to be Summer Runner. So very crazy overall hint lineup, and of course that is extremely nice with the higher hint level, provided that you are 3 limit break. However, if you are a non-frontrunner player, then you will most likely just look at it for a perspective, oh, I'm a pace player, maybe Groundwork can help, Playtime's Over, Slipstream, like, it gets reduced in value, but you can still get something if you are a non-frontrunner player. The gold skill is pretty much insane. It is the gold version of Leader's Pride. And if we look back again, she gives you the common version of Leader's Pride. So if you land this hint from Summer Maruzensky and you finish up the chain, you will get top runner for very cheap compared to usual. This is a very crazy skill. Leader's Pride is a really good skill early game for frontrunners to help them maintain that lead. It is very strong, and of course, this card is already strong, so having a very strong gold skill adds a lot extra value for frontrunners. Here are the numbers. Keep in mind that this is a level 5 training facility level, but in general, as you can clearly see, Summer Maruzensky plus Kitasa Black actually give you more stats in general compared to Naruto Top Road and Kitasa Black. This is not to say Naruto Top Road is worse, although let's be real, Summer Maruzensky is better, but in Make a New Track, this is pretty much like MLB Smaru or 3LB, because 1 and 2LB is not runnable in Make a New Track. However, 3 limit break and 4 limit break are. So let's say we are out of Make a New Track and we are on the Grand Life scenario. The numbers are the exact same when it comes to trading values. So as you can clearly see, when you put Summer Maruzensky at 1 limit break with Kitasa Black, you get more power compared to Shiko Wendy. And of course, the skills I mentioned earlier gives a lot of extra value for Summer Maruzensky for frontrunners. So, the 1 limit break versus 3 limit break debate. Let's start things off from the 1 limit break side. The 1 limit break side is very simple. It is much easier for you to hit 1 limit break of Summer Maruzensky and just bail out. It's very cheap, it's not really expensive for a card. And you pretty much get the kit that you want as a non-frontrunner player from 1 limit break. The 3 limit break one, you get an extra hint level. This is pretty much like if you are a like day one frontrunner player that will play frontrunners until frontrunners just gets powercraft and like the 9th scenario type card, then 3 limit break is better for you. If you are looking at optimizing frontrunners and you main frontrunners, I would say that you should look at it for 3 LB or above. Also, if you have played Bikini Track, let's be real, the race bonus shenanigans being 3 limit break cards, etc., is like very annoying, so having clean numbers is always very nice. And once Summer Maruzensky comes out, you'll realize, wait, hold on, I'm on a parent run. Why do I not just slot in the Suzuka speed from the story? And yes, the parenting for frontrunners will also become even better, which is crazy because frontrunner players have the best parents right now. Dude, where is Spark rerolling? Like, I don't know. Front already has the best parents and it will continue like that for a really long time. And yeah, you will now have 2 broken cards for parenting. You essentially will have a lot of hints, you will have a lot of discounts. Your parents will have a much more likelihood to get Leader's Pride because you have the gold version from someone Maruzensky, which of course is extremely good. And in the future, Playtime's Over is actually going to be even easier. And considering the fact that this is only after 2 weeks after Summer Maruzensky for global, frontrunners are going to be extremely good in Grand Life scenario. So let's look at it. The banner review and the rerun. So this banner is most likely going to come out on early June, and the rerun is probably going to come out on early August. So the Summer Nakayama Festa Wit card, it's not the worst card ever, because here's the thing, okay? Some cards like Kawakami Princess is like looked at as like, it looks average, it's not really that good, and then like nobody really uses it until like you try it yourself. I have used the Kawakami Princess speed card, and a lot of people say, hey, it's just like below average or like average speed card, and that initial speed is so comfortable. So I'm excited to see what Nakayama Festa really does, because it's basically the updated version or like a stronger version of the SR Dober Wit card. It is a decent card. You can probably find some use cases for this card if you are a free-to-play player without like a secondary strong SSR Wit card. And of course this card is a high roll because it has no specialty priority. But yeah, overall though, I don't think Summer Nakayama Festa is a bad card. It is going to be niche, but you're probably going to find some use cases for this card. The next card is Fine Motion with Summer Maruzensky speed. This card is really good, and I don't need to talk about it that much. Fine Motion, if you have played with Fine Motion, she literally cures cancer, so I don't know what else to tell you, dude. Here is my recommendation for Summer Maruzensky. If you are a non-frontrunner player, you could consider just pulling for 1 LB. And as a frontrunner player, you could consider either going for 1 limit break or 3 limit break if you are mainly using frontrunner players only. This card is very strong, it just depends on your personal preference. Oh, I want to get the added bonus of the hit levels so that I finish the chain skills in 2 clicks, or I mean like hint clicks instead of 3, then 3 limit break is better for you. If you are just looking, oh, I just wanted like a strong stat stick, then 1 limit break is good for you. If you're looking on pulling for the rerun version, then keep in mind that 3 months later we will have Umamusume Wit, which of course is again the strongest Wit card that will come out, and a couple months later you will have the Bourbon Wit with Sakura L'Oreal banner. That's when Fine Motion falls off, so you want to consider if you really want to spend like 2 months without really having that much limit break on Summer Maruzensky, because Summer Maruzensky is a really long card, like longevity wise, because it is like pretty much like a semi Kita-san Black. You will use it in the Grand Life scenario, you will use it in the Grandmaster scenario, you will probably use it on with Lark, and then like you could probably cope with this card as your secondary frontrunner card all the way until like Falcon Speed. It is actually a really long-term card. This card actually has a really strong long-term value, so I would recommend on the rerun you should probably just go for a 3 limit break. With the anniversary, you could just like, let's say I pulled and I got like 2 limit break from this banner. What about the 1.5 year anniversary selector? It goes to the Summer Maruzensky speed. It just really depends on your situation. If you already have Fine Motion max limit break and Kita-san Black max limit break, then I probably would just recommend, you use the crystal on Summer Maruzensky speed if you have it on like 2 limit break for the 3 limit break. I don't know if it is really worth it for the max limit break, but keep in mind that as we get closer to the 1.5 year anniversary, I will make a more detailed video explaining the anniversary and what cards that you should use for the 1.5 year anniversary selector. This one is going to be very easy, which is going to be the Light Hello and Agnes Tachyon. I will give more explanation to Light Hello compared to Agnes Tachyon. Agnes Tachyon is a very simple answer. It's maximum break or you just do not use this card. However, for Light Hello, I will have to explain why exactly I would recommend specific limit breaks on this card. Light Hello. Light Hello is going to be the PAL card introduced with the Grand Life scenario. So it is very simple. This card, as you can clearly see, does not have any orange icons on its limit breaks or like the unique effect. What exactly is this? It is very interesting because it gives you 30 energy cost reduction multiplier when participating in a friendship trading. So let's say I am on a speed trading and Kita-san Black has a rainbow trading, okay? I would have a lot of energy cost reduction if Light Hello is on the trading. So here is an example. Let's say I'm at 3 limit break Light Hello. I have 10 from here and 30 from here. It's not going to be 40 energy reduction, it's going to be 43 because unique effects are multiplied. So you will have pretty much a 43% energy cost down reduction when trading with this card, provided that there is a rainbow trading. It is a very strong effect, and I will give more explanation as to why this unique effect is actually going to be extremely strong. As for the gold skill, as mentioned earlier, if you have been watching and not falling asleep, this card possesses See Ya Later, which is the gold version of Playtime's Over. Anyways, what does See Ya Later do? It's pretty much very simple. There is an Uba behind you for 3 seconds after the 10-second mark from the start of the race. You get a target speed increase of a 0.35 for 3 seconds. It's very strong and it can actually proc twice. However, it's actually extremely rare unless you are playing two regular front runners and like a runaway. Then one of these 2 front runners will probably could proc this once and use the second proc as a defense mechanism if there's a late soldier or an encloser coming right behind them. And you actually can get it guaranteed. However, it can be Agamasened from hint to level 3 to hint to level 1. So it just depends on your luck. Here is the biggest thing that you should know of. After the start of the Grand Life scenario, every single scenario heavily promotes you to use a pal card. The pal card straight up changes how you play the scenario. If you are not using Light Hello, then do not play Grand Life scenario. Here's the thing. Repeatable randomly after training. So once you train, it can happen. So it gives you something called performance token. You have the least of plus 20. This is a mechanic regarding Grand Life itself. There is going to be like 5 different tokens that you can get throughout the career. There's like the primary and secondary. Like, it is very complicated things, but this is extremely strong. And of course, the card itself just has a lot of energy from its events. At the start of the Grand Life scenario is when trading just becomes better than racing. So you are heavily promoted to train instead of racing. So that means that you will have more clicks with your cards, which means that you have more clicks with Light Hello, which means that this effect is going to be stronger. Now let's look at it again from the perspective, now that we know that the trading is better than the racing for the most part in Grand Life scenario. That means that, first things off, the rare version of Light Hello is not probably going to be used ever, because you do not have the unique effect. You are wasting too much energy cost reduction, and you will probably use a lot of turns to rest where you could have trained it instead. So the common version of Light Hello is a no-go, and already, before I say anything else, 1 limit break is like maximum level cope. However, personally, on my opinion, the bare minimum limit break that you need for Light Hello to be good is 2 limit break SSR. The trading effectiveness is going to be extremely nice in Grand Life, especially that you are going to be incentivized to train more compared to racing. I have said this multiple times throughout this video. I like repeating shows importance. The trading effectiveness will eventually add up, especially if you got a stagnant trading. Then you will already feel that, oh yeah, I can feel the trading effectiveness of Light Hello. So yeah, if you have used it 1 limit break Riko Kishimoto and then used it like max limit break, you will understand my point on this part. Which of course means that this banner is going to be slightly expensive, because I guess Tachyon is max limit break only card. So you need to have at least 400 total pulls saved for this banner. There's 100 free pulls on the Light Hello and I guess Tachyon, but keep in mind that you want this card to be at 2 limit break bare minimum, and I guess Tachyon at max limit break. So like I said earlier, you generally just need at the bare minimum 2 limit break Light Hello. Max limit break, the difference actually is not that big, but it can be noticeable with the initial speed, and of course fixed up race bonus, because like incorrect amount of race bonus can be annoying, but this card at max limit break, it's nice. 3 limit break is more than enough that you need, and 2 limit break is like the passing point for Light Hello. I guess Tachyon speed. It is going to be short and easy. First things off, this card is maximum break only. The reason is the skill point bonus. The 2 versus 1 is very big, and if you have played with any skill point bonus card, then just automatically go for maximum break. The 2 skill point bonus is insane. Again, do not pull for this card and just use it for like 2 limit break or like 3 limit break. This card is straight up max limit break only card. As for the unique effect, it is going to be extremely strong, because without it, I guess Tachyon has 20 friendship bonus, but with the unique effect you get an additional multiplicative 20 friendship bonus, which means that you jump now to 44%, which of course is crazy, because friendship bonus is the only training value that is multiplicative instead of additive, which is crazy. This card also has 80 specialty priority at max summer break. With Kita-san Black, you have very decent chance of them being both together on training, which means that you will generate a lot of speed. However, the problem with Agnes Tachyon is that it has no race bonus and it has no power bonus. That power bonus will be noticeable later when I compare it with other cards. The gold skill is actually going to be extremely strong. For pace chasers, at a random point in the mid game, you will get a 0.35 target speed increase for 2.4 seconds. It's very strong and it can have a chance of a speed carryover. The worst possible case, it is an extra mid game skill. It is a very strong skill for pace chasers. You generally just wanna go for this skill. Here are the numbers, and as you can clearly see, the one on the very far right, this is the star, like where you notice where, oh, the power compare like across it. Yeah, Tachyon does not generate as much power, but what did I mention about the skill point bonus? As you can clearly see, with Kita-san Black and some Maruzensky, you only get 6. But with, I guess, Tachyon, you get 11 with Kita-san Black, 12 with Summer Maruzensky speed. It is a very big difference. And if you get it on wit training, this is also very big. If you get it on power training and there's like a good power click, then that also is going to be noticeable. Your skill points overall will feel more compared to usual with, I guess, Tachyon. And you will get much more speed compared to power overall with, I guess, Tachyon, since it is mostly a speed focused card compared to a hybrid like Kita-san Black is, where Kita-san Black can give you a power bonus and a speed bonus. So overall, the training values exchanging some power for skill points. Here is my recommendation for the Light Hello banner and I guess Tachyon. I guess Tachyon is max summer break, no debate. If you are not using I guess Tachyon on max summer break for that skill bonus, then just do not use this card. Let's be real. And for Light Hello, genuinely, I would recommend at the bare minimum 2 limit break SSR version. The R version will lack so much energy, and 1 limit break Light Hello and 0 limit break, the training effectiveness difference will definitely start to appear. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have noticed a difference in tone, then that's because I'm sick. But anyways, if you found this video to be helpful, then consider subscribing and consider joining the community server, link it in the comment section. And I hope to see you in the next one.